Go ahead and close your eyes. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Allow the muscles in your face to droop down. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. Hello and welcome to Mindful Moves. I'm so happy that you're here. Today we're going to be speaking about something that I'm so passionate about. If you know me, if you are in my life, you would have 100% heard something along these lines. But I'm going to start us off with a story on what inspired this. I was in South Africa and I was staying at a bed and breakfast. And this bed and breakfast was built and designed in a way that my room was directly walking into the kitchen. So where everybody would be seated and they would be having breakfast. So I didn't quite realize this because I arrived like in the evening and it was just a room. There were like no tables or anything. So I arrived in the evening, go to the room, go to bed. Next morning, I'm like, oh, cool, like it's time for breakfast. And I open the door, and now, mind you, I thought it was empty. I thought, this is going to be a really chilled bed and breakfast. There's not going to be many people anyways. I open this door. I haven't really gotten ready. I haven't showered. And there are 6 or 7 or 8 tables, full tables of people having breakfast, eating their bacon and eggs, and family style, and the whole room just goes quiet and they just look over to me. And in that moment, my heart was like, this is so awkward. Now, I realized in that moment I had 2 choices. I could either drop my head down, scurry over to an empty table for my breakfast, and just like be embarrassed the whole time. But now breakfast is one of my favorite meals. So I was like, no, I'm not going to sacrifice my breakfast time and the happiness and joy it brings me because I feel embarrassed. So I decided I had to take the second option. And the second option was looking up tall, lifting my chin and saying, good morning, everyone. And everyone smiled. Some even said good morning back. And then I just walked over to my table and I had my delicious breakfast. And from that moment on, now mind you, I did this, it was in split seconds. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I'm really happy that it did, because after that moment, I instilled this new confidence, because while I was sitting and I was having my breakfast, I was thinking to myself, that was like a movie scene. And if I had been a side character or like an extra in the back, I would have been sitting maybe at one of those tables. But I was the main character because I walked into that room, everybody, eyes on me, spotlight, and it was up to me how I handled that. And I decided to step into my main character power in that moment, just like a movie. And I do that honestly in all spheres of my life now, because how much better is it to think about if something like that happens, or if something really bad happens, or something really good, or if you're feeling a bit socially anxious, it feels so good to know, hey, this is my movie. Because you know what? Guess what? Spoiler alert. This actually is your movie. This thing that we call life, you are the main character. I hope that this story reminds you, or maybe just makes you realize that you are in full spotlight of your life. Everything that is happening around you, you can choose to be an extra and you can be behind the scenes, or you can be the main character. And I think that this way of living has, at first it started like a joke. I was like, yeah, I'm the main character of my life. And I don't really care now if it sounds a bit funny, but now it really rules a lot of how I treat myself. And I realized that I had, through, I don't know when it started, but I had just started trying to be in the sidelines and not be visible. I didn't want to be seen. And now I realize that I have this beautiful life. And if you know me again, you know that I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to be on this earth. I am grateful that I'm having this beautiful human experience. And a lot of why I made this form of sharing is because I feel we maybe don't share that deeply anymore about our human experience. And we have this facade of social media. We have so many other forms, maybe TikTok, whatever it may be. And it's so easy to look at a person's life, especially if it's not your life, and look at their life and think, wow, if only I looked like them, if only I had what they had, if only I could do what they do. But actually, you can. For the longest time, so as I mentioned before, my healing journey, I looked up to people who were doing a podcast. I think one of my first podcasts I listened to was Mindset Mentor, and I always just idolized him, and I just thought, wow, like I could never do that. I'm going to take what I can from his episodes and that's it. But honestly, you can do anything that you want to do. And I really just want to instill this belief, or maybe just a reminder in you, that this life is totally yours. And I'm not saying that people are going through the same things. I think everyone has a unique story, and it really depends where you're at in life. As long as you know that this life is for you, and as long as you know that you can take hold of it whenever you choose to and when you're ready. And part of why I'm doing this is to speak about the real shit that we actually go through and that we feel, and the resistance when trying to live a better life, because it's not easy. It's really not. And I just want to speak up about it, because I think that we so often, again, we look at other people's lives and we just idolize them and think that everything is perfect. But honestly, it never is. It really never is. And I can tell you that a lot of it is, as you know, being in a safe space in your body, so having a regulated nervous system. But so much of it is also gratitude, and so much of it is deciding to live instead of exist. And it's all in your head. It's really a mindset thing. And I really hope through this form of sharing and this community that we build here, that you realize that, and that it's up to you. It really is. It's completely, the ball is in your court, and whatever you decide to do, you can do it. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into the next chapters of this season and speak about what holds us back and ways to navigate it, because that's what really helped me. Is I feel like we know so little about why we are the way we are. But imagine this thought of wanting to get to know yourself, wanting to see yourself in the best light. And honestly, that's what this episode is. It's seeing yourself in a beautiful light, and really understanding that it's always a choice on how we view ourselves. And even if in the past we haven't had the best relationship with that, because I can honestly say I haven't, it takes practice, and it takes just instilling a new belief. And as it is with breathing and adding that to our flow of life, it's also a mindset thing around how you view yourself, because ultimately how you feel inside about yourself and the relationship you have with yourself is always going to be shown on the outside, so projected out. And I think that the more we realize that, and the more we cultivate this relationship, the better off we are. And I know that we haven't been taught this. I know that we haven't been, a lot of us haven't had this instilled in us from a young age. We've had to just take what we got, and some people got really negative feedback about themselves. But I want you to really know from me that it's not too late to change that, and that you can really change the view on how you see yourself. And in turn, that will just reflect and ripple into the rest of your life. So I really hope that you take on this main character energy. Your life is beautiful. There are always going to be ups and downs, and I'm not here to say pretend everything is fine. That's really the opposite. I'm here to say embrace every moment, because it's fully yours, and to take ownership of it, it stops you from losing your power. Take your power back. Let yourself be the main character, and don't forget, the light that you're constantly seeking outside of yourself is waiting to be acknowledged within. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week.